No, but we're just gonna live on Mars anyway, guys. So it doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah.
Okay, guys. Welcome back to the No Objective Podcast, where we insult the fuck out of each other.
Alright, so basically corporations suck, we're all gonna die, and everything's on fire.
Yep. See you next time on the.
Everything you love.
Everything you love is on fire and will die eventually. Some sooner than later.
And you will be forgotten within 2 or 3 generations, and no one will ever know your name, and no one will ever care that you existed.
Pretty much.
Wait, generations? I was gonna say 2 or 3 weeks.
Ah!
Damn. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the one thing that's pretty much killing all of us: shitty presidential officials.
Yeah, Jair
and global
Bolsonaro.
It's global.
Bolsonaro. Donald Trump.
So
Fucking. I don't want to insult the Chinese president.
Yeah, he'll
Because-
probably.
yeah, that's probably not good.
He'll probably
Yeah.
keep you safe like he's keeping the Dalai Lama,
Uh,
the new one.
No, yeah, so
oh yeah, can I just go off on a tangent about the Dalai Lama?
yeah, go
No.
The Dalai Lama, it turns out he's like a huge fucking asshole.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
everything,
said
everything
that,
you
like-
learn about will suck. Keep going, sorry.
he said that like, if you were reincarnated as a woman, the woman has to be hot.
I'm gonna
It's
link
like-
the John Oliver video on Dalai Lama.
Like, nigga, look at you. You're ugly as fuck, man. Like, no,
Jesus.
no offense. No offense. But
No offense, you're ugly as fuck.
but I mean, come on, like, you're not a fucking
This is
You're
This
not
is
no
the-
Ryan Gosling.
yeah.
this is the problem with
You're not no Keanu Reeves.
this is the problem with getting to know shit, because everything sucks. Everything secretly sucks. All the people that you love,
Yeah, like that's why they say don't meet your heroes.
meet your heroes. Everything in the world sucks because there's always someone trying to make a profit out of it, and they're gonna kill you.
Don't meet your heroes unless your hero's Keanu Reeves.
Unless your heroes,
he's
apparently the
breathtaking.
only good one. He's breathtaking.
Yeah.
Including what? The Amazon. It's a it's a beautiful forest, guys. It's beautiful. A lot of people
Was
live
beautiful.
there. There's plenty of animal trees. Was being the operative word, because it was on fire. I still don't know if it still is or not.
I don't
But
know.
it's definitely being cut down for a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
very slowly. And why is it being cut down?
For agriculture and more
Agriculture.
cows. That's gonna
Yep.
cause more global warming.
Yep, that's like a global warming triple whammy.
Yeah.
You're cutting the trees down, you're setting it on fire, and you're making agriculture out of it. That's a triple one right there.
That's some big
More
brain
of-
shit right there.
Some big brain shit right there.
Chop down trees to make room for other plants. That like
Yeah. But in all
That we like
seriousness,
better.
yes. In all seriousness, yes. This is what is happening. They're cutting down the trees. They're burning down the forests to make way for agriculture and I guess farming for cows.
Like,
Because
did anyone actually think that it was like just a random forest fire? Like
Yeah, a lot of
think,
people
I
did.
think a lot of people actually just thought it's like random forest fire that like
except it's a rainforest.
it's a rainforest.
It's a rainforest. It's not a savanna.
Like
they don't
they're like
fire.
what the fuck? Like how are people so dumb? Like people are already saying like
They're
oh, no,
just
it's
ignorant, man.
natural. It's
It's just-
natural.
So
True.
yeah, it's natural. Well, that was the official statement from
Jair Bolsonaro.
Yeah, for Jair Bolsonaro, who I guess for people who don't know, that is the current president of Brazil, and they fell in charge of all this stuff going on. And the reason they're making room for agriculture and beef is because Brazil is one of the biggest exporters in beef around the world. I think the biggest exporter of beef around the world.
Yeah, your McDonald's probably comes from a fucking Brazilian cow.
Pretty much. It used to speak Portuguese. Now, you know, a McDonald's.
Now it's just fried.
That must be like, if you're a cow, that must be like the lowest you can get, right? Because you're like, you're going to become beef, right? Eventually, but you want to be like in those high-end.
Yeah, like those nice
right?
flank steaks, nice fucking tenderloin.
Yeah, like how sad would it be that you got killed and turned into McDonald's burgers?
Fucking cheeseburger.
that would be the lowest of becoming a McDonald's burger.
But I bet some of you get turned into a sirloin, and some of you get turned into a McDonald's burger. Some of you get turned into sausage. Some of you get turned into, you know.
Is there beef and stuff? I thought it was
beef.
pork.
So, no, there are beef sausages, man.
I've never had one of those.
Oh no. Yeah, it's good. Grill them.
Grill
those.
Yeah. But as we have come to learn that this is pretty much one of the bigger issues with climate change. Bacon tastes too good, and beef burgers are amazing. That's the real reason we're all dying.
Yeah. That's kind of fucked up, though. I like how we're talking about steak and shit, but it's basically the cows that are, you know,
yeah, well,
fucking shit up.
Cows.
Well, the ones that, not the cows, but the ones that are like
fault.
fucking, the ones that are fucking, you know, bringing in the cows and.
Well, I guess they're
ranchers.
They're over farming. They're
over farming. Exactly.
Overextending their. I don't know. There's a lot of factors in it. I guess there's probably going because farmers need to make money. They want to expand and the such, and Brazil needs money because they have a certain amount of money they need to make in government, GDP, and a lot of other words and complicated stuff that I actually don't understand. But I heard someone else say, so I'm just repeating them. A lot smarter people know more about this, but that's the gist of it. President trying to expand Brazilian beef industry because they're going to make a lot of money off of it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Amazon's is pretty much going to pay for it, despite being what they call the lungs of the earth.
Yeah.
Well, like I remember in January, Bolsonaro said that he would look into like expanding deforestation to.
Oh shit!
Because they see it as a resource essentially.
He's just doing what he promised that he would do.
Yeah, and he wants to open up like mining there or something. He wants to like deforest so you can start mining.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things they're trying to do with this. The biggest, I guess, the biggest bar that they have to. The biggest wall that they have to climb, or at least bulldoze down, are the indigenous people that actually live there on protected, like reserved land. But even then, a lot of them have been like killed over the last year, like the last hundreds of years, trying to protect the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah,
and he's trying to like make it so it's not constitutionally protected. Even though it is, so they can just burn it. So this is one of the reasons why they're saying, oh, it just burned, it just like it was an act of God or such.
Natural.
It was natural, because then they can't write it off as unconstitutional. Same as the fact that he recently was not. They were trying to. People were donating, I don't know, like $8 million to be able to like.
He refused the aid.
He refused the money.
He refused money.
He refused the aid to help with the to stop the deforestation and like.
Oh, what the fuck! I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was it's a weird thing to do if it was just like an act of God and you're trying to help.
Yeah, basically, but apparently we can't be concerned about the Amazon forest fire because there are fires in Africa too that are also bad, so we can't be concerned about the Amazon.
Can't be concerned about the Amazon.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
There's fires everywhere. There was a fire over in California. We can't.
Oh no, yeah, we can't focus on the Amazon anymore. We have to focus.
I'm pretty sure my neighbor had a bonfire, so I can't worry about
shit,
it.
yeah. Can't worry
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
I can't worry about it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Excuse me, did you just fucking drive a car?
Oh,
Yep.
oh, we can't worry about that.
Oh, we
anymore.
can't talk, guys. It's over. We can't talk about climate change anymore, guys. We once drove in a car, so we're equally as guilty.
Yeah. Why
You
didn't
see
you
that-
fucking walk?
But really, like really, that's just a bullshit argument made by the fucking companies that are causing the problems in the first place. Like they want us to think like, oh, everyone who drives a car or takes a plane or something, they're just as guilty. But in reality, like there are only 100 companies that account for 70% of the carbon emissions. So if I were to not take a plane, like that would literally do nothing in comparison to what only 100 companies are doing.
Yeah. But that's the problem though. It's like the companies are the ones that have the political power and the money to do so, and they don't. And so it makes it harder on everyone else. And that's pretty much how they get you. You're saying
Yeah.
it's everyone else's fault and everyone's together. But yeah, I don't
It's
really
really their fault.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's not play the blame game.
Well, interestingly enough, maybe that's actually the way we're supposed to go about it. I've been reading this book on climate change and basically the garbage political landscape that we have nowadays. And one of the strategies that they suggest using is to, like, actually not to play the blame game and make it kind of more like everyone playing their part, because then it just it rises naturally to become equal. So they did this comparison with the LGBTQ movement, where it's like before people were adamant about gays not being allowed to, like, get married or to have, like, rights. And then over time, they didn't play the blame game. Like, everyone just kind of contributed, and because the public did it first, then the companies had to do afterwards as well. And so they're kind of suggesting to take that approach with climate change, where it's like you don't play the blame game. You make the efforts on a smaller scale, and then the companies usually have to be forced into doing so as well to help.
But I feel like the companies already do that.
But they don't.
Like with climate change, they're just like, I mean, they say that they're doing it, but in the background, you don't know what the shit is.
No, but I feel like that's super bullshit in this case, because the companies have full control over everything. Like they have, like if you take a plane that you know, like you can't go about. What I'm saying is, like, you can't go about this life without participating in the society that you're living in, and the society that you're living in, by its nature, relies on carbon emissions, like taking a plane or taking a bus or something. So we have to fundamentally overhaul the entire society, and rely on green energy. And the only way to do that is to change the leadership at the top, and take the power away from the fossil fuel industry.
Well, that's the other thing they were saying, because that first half that I was talking about, that's just to convince the people who are willing to change. The second half that they were talking about, like, there's, I guess the majority in this case, well, you're not going to change their minds. You're not going to be able to, like, convince them. This is just for, like, the people who you're trying to convince, and have the possibility of changing their minds. For, like, the bigger, like, the huge companies and just the people who know about it but just refuse to do anything about it, who are, let's say they're not ignorant, they're just unwilling to help out. That has, they say that actually has to be then the government putting actual laws and regulations to do so, because that's the only way then that they'll be forced to change their practices.
But Juan, isn't that socialism?
That's absolutely socialism, and I'm sorry for even speaking about it. I'm sorry for even suggesting such an idea.
Did you hear what's happening in Venezuela, Juan? They put socialism and then suddenly everything goes kaboom. How do you
Yeah.
explain that?
I don't know. I'm sure it has nothing to do with
Socialism.
or
Socialism.
Yep.
Socialism.
Fair enough.
Socialism.
How much is it like of it is just I've always wondered how much of the political landscape right now is it just backed by corporations trying to make money?
A lot.
Like there's actually
Socialism.
socialists. What about
Yeah, pretty much every.
remember communism? Yeah. What?
No. I was gonna say like there are only a few bastions of socialism left in the world. Like I would look at Bolivia. Is it Bolivia?
Bolivia, yeah, it's Bolivia.
Bolivia. They're actually one of the first people to take action in the Amazon forest. Like they sent the biggest plane, like how do I say it? Water tanker plane.
So it's just like a plane that can carry either a shit ton of water or fire extinguisher, and it holds like maybe 2 tons or something like that, or I guess gallons.
Yeah.
Like a shit ton of water.
Bolivia. There's Cuba.
And they sent planes over the Amazon?
Bolivia did. Bolivia did.
Oh.
Well, because the Amazon expands over not just Brazil, like it expands
Obviously,
yeah.
through
So
like different countries.
they couldn't put out the ones in Brazil, but they put out the ones in their.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly.
another bastion of socialism, I guess, Cuba.
Cuba.
But the problem is every time there's a socialist country, like all the capitalist countries around it, try to suppress it.
But it's one of those things where like because it's named a certain thing, then there's a fear of it, right?
Yeah.
So like people hear socialism and then suddenly there's just all these negative thoughts and negative connotations to a word that just means a certain thing. So and there could be good capitalism, there could be bad capitalism, there could be good socialism, there could be bad socialism. There's no like dichotomy of like capitalism good, socialism bad, you know? There's there's ideas in different ways of governing that some might work depending on where you are. But just demonizing one thing and saying they're the enemy causes even more problems within your own government like and political climate.
But people also forget it's not just socialism and capitalism, but before capitalism there was mercantilism and shit.
Yeah.
How would one explain mercantilism?
No idea.
I
Don't even know what that is.
Like basically going around countries and shit, trading. Like you know what Columbus used to do?
Okay.
That kind of shit. Like you have trade routes and shit. You go trade spices and whatever. That's mercantilism.
So like back in we're talking about like back when like the
Before-
Roman Empire
Before capitalism.
before capitalism. So before there was like a concept of companies and there's the workforce. It's just basically people who had goods to trade and they would go to other places to trade it for things that they didn't have.
But that's more like a national economy thing. But
Yeah.
like within nations, you also had it's not capitalism, but it was called feudalism. And basically you had a system where you had a king or you just had a lord, and the lord had a couple knights, and the knights owned or the lord also owned like certain patches of land, and the land had peasants on it, and the peasants had to work for their lord basically. And I just view all the people who are like, well, capitalism created all these jobs and shit and lifted people out of poverty and blah blah blah, but like they're just like the people who were like back in the 1600s or 1400s who were like too afraid to transition out of feudalism and look for something better.
Yeah.
That's how I view it basically.
Yeah, so essentially it comes down to is that there's different ideas of governing, especially when it has to do with economics. So there's not all good, there's not all bad. There's good ideas and some bad ideas in others. And so when you try to demonize one, it doesn't work out. So
Right.
that's I think that's what he's trying to say when they say like, oh, when Emil's trying to say like, oh, but people make fun of Venezuela for like having socialist ideas. Venezuela has capitalist ideas as well, and those didn't work either.
Right.
It has to do with like the people. It has to do with like how the government,
the leadership
handles it.
and all that shit.
And now I'm gonna wrap it back around to like how
Socialist.
there could be there's like the bad ideas in capitalism, and this is one of the consequences of it, which is the Amazon, burning down. If we take capitalism to like its fundamental key, that it's just taking what you have, selling it for a profit, and making as much as you can.
Right. Yeah.
For a product that you sell. But there's like prices to pay for that, especially if it's on like a scale this big. Burning down like the Amazon rainforest, of course, I'm sure they'll make I don't know how many millions or billions selling beef around the world, and it's probably gonna do pretty well for the overall economy in Brazil. Corporations. But then, and I'm sure it's gonna be great for the ranchers and the farmers and everything as well. The problem is that we don't live in a world.
Our life is on the line. The earth is
everything,
on the line.
everything is interconnected in this world.
Right.
You can't burn down a rainforest in one area and expect it not to like affect the rest of the world, because it's one planet, right?
Exactly.
So if you make an effect here, it's going to affect the entirety of the world, and that's what we're seeing with the climate change thing.
Yeah.
So, again, basically we're fucked, is what I'm saying.
Right. I mean, it's fucking crazy, man. Like, I don't understand how people don't realize. Like, where we live, where Emil and I live, it's like the past week, it's been 30 degrees and up. It's been fucking hot. And people like still deny it.
And I'm constantly just in a bad mood because it's so hot and my back feels like it's burning. And shit.
Right?
Like, and I'm not even in the sun. I'm just sitting in my fucking house, and I feel it right now, man. My fucking shoulders are fucking. I feel like
I'm
a
sweating,
potato.
Can you feel the skin cancer
as we speak?
Can you feel the skin cancer settling in? Like, is that? Can you feel it?
I can feel socialism approaching. Yeah.
Well, that's the problem when like, these topics become so politicized. As the one thing that I have learned about one of the reasons why it's become politicized, it may be because of the way that the scientists and researchers are presenting the information. Is maybe one of the reasons why it's become like such a huge topic. Because you would think that everyone just relies on whatever, like they say, like a fact is a fact. And that's what they're going to rely on for the rest of it, and that's what they believe. A good percentage of the population, it does not work that way. I think most humans don't work that way. Where like if you just get a scientific fact and just that's what you go with for the rest of it. But that's how scientists present it. So no matter how much evidence and how much research you throw at a person, or how many facts you throw at them, it's not going to matter, because that's now not what their perception is, and that's not how they receive it. They receive information. We'd like to think that's how we are, but that's not exactly how it works. So what they're recommending to do for scientists who present climate change information is to frame it in kind of like a framing device. So basically a story in which people can understand it better, rather than just throwing random facts at them.
Okay, that would be a different approach.
Yeah, because the current approach is obviously not working.
Right.
Yeah, just say it. But you can't. No matter how much you yell at them, this is the research. This is the amount of research that there is. There's all this evidence backing up. If the person you're trying to not necessarily convince, but like trying to present this information to, just doesn't care about the evidence, then no matter how much you throw at them, it's not going to do a thing. If you're in politics and you're trying to convince, let's say, a committee to do something based on research and evidence, that there's a giant chance they're not going to care no matter how much you throw at them. But if you frame it in like a device, like some kind of just kind of paint them a picture, then it might help a little bit more. It also might work because a lot of people don't have the scientific background that researchers have or scientists have.
Yeah.
So they're not going to understand a lot of the information anyways.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if we're trying to convince governments and committees and all these public works to do something about it, you just have to find a different way of kind of approaching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, water is running out all over the world.
Oh, well, fresh water. Yeah,
Nestle is buying all the water. Capitalism be like, okay, water is running out. How can we make profit out of this ecological disaster?
Dude, exactly. Nestle is a fucking evil company, man.
But they make some good fucking candy, like
they really do.
Don't they make Kit Kat?
They do. I think they do.
Do. They make
they make a lot of shit, man.
But yeah, like the CEO of Nestle or something said that water was not a right.
Jeez.
If water is not a right, then what is a right?
I don't know. Like right. All water should be like commercialized.
If water is not a right, what is a right?
I don't know, man.
What like that's actually like, okay, if you're setting up a society, right?
Yeah.
What is a right? A right is like something that should be guaranteed to everyone, right? Like based on the law.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the first thing you think about be water?
Well, you would think of the basic human needs.
So
right?
water,
food, shelter.
Okay, I would think of water first, and then I think
water first. Water is first, absolutely.
Food, and then shelter.
Yeah.
And then I would start thinking of things like owning a fucking gun, or
yeah.
No, but like before that, I would think of healthcare, and then then I would think of like, oh my god, water is not a right. Wow.
Well, yeah, that's the mentality, right? That's the mentality
that's a new take. That's a new take.
That a lot of these, I guess, companies gonna come in where it's like you have to sell as much as you can of anything that you can find. So like if your company sells water, then it would make sense in a hyper capital. I guess I would call it hyper capitalistic mindset. That it wouldn't be alright because then you wouldn't make money, right?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of crazy because Nestle has multiple water like brands, right?
Do they? I don't know. I guess so.
They do Pure Life and shit like Perrier. They have multiple.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's not alright though.
It's not alright. I'm
on their website right now, so
you gotta be careful, with that kind of stuff.
My fucking god, their website is so hypocritical too. Healthy hydration, good sanitation, water stewardship, encouraging other organizations to follow the AWS standard. Nice.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, man. They keep breaking these standards and regulations, and then just they make so much money they can just pay it off.
What do you propose the solution is to that?
I propose, I guess, if our government, you just have to, you know what, it might not work, but I took a little bit of psychology, and apparently what works more than punishment is incentive. Like to curb behavior, punishment doesn't work as much as incentive. So if let's say if you were a government program that has $2 million to implement something, right? So if you give companies incentive to do greener energy or to like keep their emissions low, let's say if they keep a certain amount of emissions down, they'll get then they'll get like a tax break or something.
Right.
So you want to give free money to Nestle, Juan? Fucking socialist.
I'm a fucking socialist.
Fucking. Have you ever heard of a country called Venezuela, Juan?
But the thing is, like, it's an idea, it's an implementation. You don't have to.
People are already doing that shit like around the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically the standard thing that.
There's a standard thing to do. That if you give them an incentive to do so, then they're gonna do. And it's not necessarily a socialist idea because it's up to the company whether they take to adhere to it or not. It's not a regulation. It's an incentive. So if you keep your emissions down, you'll get the you'll get the reward. If you don't, you're not going to get the reward. It's still your choice, but you would be more adverse to getting that reward, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a company and the point is to make money, then why wouldn't you do that just by keeping a certain amount of emissions? So if you can do it, right?
Yep.
But I guess it can. I guess it can be seen as a socialist agenda if you're going to give away money, but it also doesn't have to be money. It could be just different benefits.
It's like, okay, if you don't pollute our rivers and our air, then we won't tax the shit out.
Exactly. And then because they're gonna, you know what's gonna happen though? It's like, anyways, is a lot of the tax is gonna go in fixing all these emission problems, all these the water pollution and everything like that. Money's already going to go into that because they have to fix it. So rather than spending the tax dollars on that, why not spend the tax dollars on preventing the thing in the first place?
Yeah.
I don't know if does that make sense? I feel like that would.
It does.
It's going to go to it eventually, and even I guess people can go against it because they're going to say whatever they have to say, but. That's definitely it's definitely an idea like that could go better than just something has to be done, you know. We went from like 12 years to change anything how we treat climate change to like 17 months.
Right. Yeah.
We've already. I don't know if you've ever heard of. I don't know what it's. Oh fuck! I forgot what it's called. But there's like a global counter of what day in the year we've used all the resources that we need for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
So to kind of give the Earth can provide, let's say, 1 million in resources every year before it has to replenish the next year, right?
Okay.
And so there's a certain date in the year where they say, okay, we've already used up a year's supply of resources before the year is over. And I think this year we hit it in May, where we've already used a year's supply.
That's like me with my budget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have a Earth budget, right? Every year.
Earth budget, yes.
And we've already gone past it.
Months ago.
And if we continue, this, it just over time it just doesn't become sustainable. Then you go bankrupt.
And then it's over.
And then we all die.
And then
no, but we're just gonna live on Mars anyway, guys. So it doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah.
Jeez. There's so much.
Socialist.
All socialist idea.
Socialism bad. Capitalism good.
Capitalism good.
Status quo good. Fossil fuel good.
Very good.
Green energy bad.
Bad.
What is Why is there so much adverse against
green energy? Anyway? Yeah, I don't understand that, man. It's so weird, right? Like why do people hate green energy?
Worst case scenario, you have cleaner air and better water.
Yeah, like why are people's... I don't get it.
I don't know. I think it's like an egoistical thing. It's like, oh, gasoline cars run better than electric cars.
Except they don't.
You know? Exactly. But it's like those old ass fucks that drive like Ford F-150s from 1945 and shit. Even though it probably didn't exist back then, but you get my point.
Well, yeah, but the Tesla car doesn't make the sound that I like, so I don't want to...
Yeah.
When I rev the engine, so I don't want to buy it.
You know, you can put a chip in the motor so it'll like actually do the noise. It's faking it, but it's actually...
Yeah, but I want it to be like authentic one.
Yeah, because it's not the same to my ears.
I don't like every time I start my engine. Yeah. I want at least one tree to die in the...
Damn.
All right. I think we can.
That's basically what they're saying. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make the sound I like, so I don't want it.
I don't want it to. Well, I think we can leave it here for now. I think we can talk about we have another topic that we can do where we'll do green energy next time.
Okay.
But I think that's pretty much as we can do for now. Before we go way over time, and then Kunal has to spend I don't know how many hours editing the video.
I still have to spend hours because that shit is long.
I'm trying to cut it down for you, Kunal. Shut up. Trying to make it shorter. God damn. But yeah, I guess this is the No Objective Podcast. Your host Juan, co-host Emil and Kunal. It's a kind of serious one today, but I think it was still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any last thoughts and stuff before we sign off?
Socialism.
Socialism.
All right.
No. Subscribe to our Patreon. Yeah, that's it.
Subscribe to our non-existent Patreon. But yeah, we'll have you guys here again next time. Maybe we might have someone else join us next time. But that's been the No Object Podcast. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Goodbye, guys.
And we'll see you next time.
All right.